Get in the game with the college-branded Venmo debit card. Wreck your team with every tap and earn up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash, a new rewards program from Venmo. No monthly fee, no minimum balance, just school pride and spending power. Get in the game and sign up for the Venmo debit card at venmo.com/collegecard. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. Select schools available. Venmo Stash terms and exclusions apply at venmo.me/stash terms. Max $100 cash back per month.
Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Trying to find something real in all the noise.
You always do. The artist you know, the story you don't. See Golden Globes nominee Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen. Critics are saying it's a career-defining performance.
Let's burn this place down, Johnny.
Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
Welcome to Supernatural Japan, the podcast exploring the strange, haunted, and mysterious corners of Japan's folklore. I'm your host, Kevin O'Shea. Tonight, we step into the web of one of Japan's most seductive and deadly yōkai, the Jorōgumo, the Binding Bride. For centuries, she has appeared in stories whispered along mountain roads and beside misty waterfalls. A beautiful woman whose elegance conceals something ancient, patient, and hungry. But to truly understand the Jorōgumo, we first need to understand the world she comes from. A world filled with strange beings known as yōkai. Before diving deeper into Jorōgumo, it's important to understand the broader category she belongs to: yōkai. In Japanese folklore, yōkai are supernatural entities that exist somewhere between spirits, monsters, and natural phenomena. The term itself can be loosely translated into strange apparition or mysterious being, but that barely scratches the surface. Yōkai are incredibly diverse. Some are mischievous tricksters. Others are dangerous predators. Some are tied to specific locations, rivers, forests, or abandoned homes, while others are linked to objects or even human emotions. Importantly, yōkai are not always purely evil. They exist in a moral gray area. Some help humans, some harm them, and many simply follow their own nature. Historically, yōkai served several purposes in Japanese society. They explained the unexplainable, strange sounds in the night, disappearances, illness, and natural disasters. And they also acted as moral lessons, warning people about risky behavior, arrogance, and carelessness. Now, the Jorōgumo fits squarely into this tradition. A creature that explains danger, enforces caution, and embodies both fear and fascination. If you are interested in learning more about yōkai, there are many great books on the topic. I've got a lot of my own collection, and one I want to recommend is Yōkai Attack: The Japanese Monster Survival Guide by Matt Alt. Now, according to Goodreads, Yōkai Attack is a nightmare-inducing one-stop guide to Japan's traditional monsters and creepy crawlies. Yōkai are ethereal sorts of beings like ghosts, nearly always encountered at night. Everyone has their own take on how they might look in real life, and what sorts of specific characteristics and abilities they might have. This book is the result of long hours spent poring over data and descriptions from a variety of sources, including microfilms of 18th century illustrations from the National Diet Library in Tokyo, in order to bring you detailed information on almost 50 of these amazing creatures for the first time in English. Illustrations created by the talented Tatsuya Morino, detail the potential appearance of each yokai. Alongside each illustration is a series of data points, with each yokai's significant features at a glance, especially handy for any potential close encounters. Yokai Attack will surely convince you that Japan's tradition of fascinating monsters is a long one, yet far from being history. Yeah, this is a great book, guys. I've got this one. I also have another one called Yurei Attack by Matt Alt, and I would recommend any of his books about Japanese supernatural things. So go check that out. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. The Jorōgumo legend became especially prominent during the Edo period, which was from 1603 to 1868, a time when Japan experienced relative peace, urban growth, and a flourishing of arts and popular culture. During this era, supernatural stories spread widely through oral storytelling traditions, kabuki theater performances, ukiyo woodblock prints, and collections of strange tales known as kaidan. As travel increased along highways connecting cities like Edo and Kyoto, so too did the need for cautionary tales. The Jorōgumo emerged as a perfect embodiment of those anxieties. At the same time, there was a growing fascination with categorizing and documenting yokai. Artists and scholars began compiling encyclopedic works describing supernatural creatures. And one of the most influential figures in this movement was Toriyama Seikien, whose illustrated books helped standardize the appearance and traits of many yokai, including spider women like the Jorōgumo. The creature's connection to spiders likely stems from real-world observation. The golden orb weaver, a large and visually striking spider found in Japan, spins strong, shimmering webs that can appear almost supernatural in the right light. It's easy to imagine how such a creature could inspire stories of something far more sinister. There may also be a linguistic and cultural overlap with the idea of the Joro, a high-ranking courtesan. In Edo-period society, courtesans were both admired and feared, figures of beauty, sophistication, and illusion. The blending of Joro and Kumo creates a powerful metaphor, a woman whose beauty entangles like a web. The Jorōgumo is not a brute force monster. She is a strategist, a patient hunter who relies on deception rather than strength. Folklore describes 3 common forms she takes. First is the beautiful woman, her most iconic guise. She appears as a graceful, soft-spoken young woman, often encountered alone in remote areas. This form is designed to lower defenses and invite interaction. Second is the domestic or nurturing figure. In some stories, she appears as a caretaker, a wife, a mother, or a servant, embedding herself into everyday life. And this version of the Jorōgumo reflects deeper anxieties about trust and familiarity. Third is the revealed or partial spider form. Observant victims may notice something is wrong before it is too late. Too many eyes, unnatural movements, or fine strands of silk appearing where they shouldn't. And this transitional state often precedes the attack. Her method of hunting is as important as her form. She does not chase, she invites. She engages in conversation, offers help, or requests assistance. She creates a moment of emotional vulnerability, fatigue, loneliness, curiosity, and uses it as an opening. And once the victim is within reach, she deploys her silk. And these threads are often described as impossibly strong, binding arms, legs, and torso in seconds. Some legends suggest she stores victims alive, wrapped and suspended, much like a real spider. Personality-wise, the Jorōgumo is intelligent, manipulative, and eerily calm. She may toy with her victims, prolonging the interaction, studying them, even enjoying the illusion of companionship before revealing her true nature. The most famous stories of the Jorōgumo center around Jōren Falls in the Izu region, a place where roaring water, thick mist, and steep cliffs create a naturally eerie atmosphere. In these stories, a beautiful woman appears beside the falls, often washing clothes or simply waiting. She asks the passerby to hold a small object, a box or a bundle. At first, it seems harmless, but then it grows heavier and heavier until the victim can no longer move. And by that time, they realize something is wrong, and by then, it's too late. The Genbe story offers a slightly different variation. In this tale, a fisherman named Genbe encounters a strange eel that transforms into a beautiful woman. She invites him into her home, offering comfort and companionship. But Genbe begins to notice strange details: silence, isolation, and a sense that he's being watched. And realizing the truth, he escapes just before he can be ensnared. Like many Jorōgumo stories, survival depends not on strength, but on awareness.
Eczema is unpredictable, but you can flare less with Ebglyss, a once-monthly treatment for moderate to severe eczema. After an initial 4-month or longer dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 mg per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
It's crunch time at work and you need to bring wings to your workday. Visit redbull.com/gettingitdone and answer a couple questions about your work style to get a Spotify customized playlist tuned to your productivity. Plus, score a can of Red Bull on us while you go from to-do to done. And remember, Red Bull gives you wings. Supplies are limited. Terms apply. Visit the website for more information.
To paint a better picture of how the Jorōgumo hunts, let's share a little story about Samurai Hiroshi and the web. The year was 1783, and the mountains of Izu were thick with summer heat. Even at night, the air clung heavily to the skin. Samurai Hiroshi had been traveling for days. Dust coated his sandals, and his armor felt heavier with every step. When he heard the distant roar of water, he followed it, hoping for a rest. Jōren Falls revealed itself slowly through the trees, a cascade of white water crashing into a pool below. Mist rising like breath into the night air. And there, standing at the edge of the water, was a woman. Her kimono shimmered faintly in the moonlight. Her hair, long and black, moved gently despite the stillness of the air. She turned. "Traveler," she said softly, "you must be tired." Hiroshi paused. Years of training had taught him caution, but there was nothing overtly threatening about her. Only calm, only warmth. I seek only rest, he replied. Then stay a while, she said. It is not safe to travel these paths at night. They spoke quietly about the road, about the heat, about nothing at all. But the conversation stretched on, and Hiroshi began to notice small things. The forest had gone silent. No insects, no birds, only the sound of water. And something else. A faint, almost invisible thread brushing against his hand. He looked down. Silk. Another thread clung to his sleeve. And then another. Hiroshi's grip tightened on his sword. And he looked up and the woman was still smiling. But her eyes, just for a moment, well, there were too many. In a single motion, Hiroshi drew his blade and slashed through the threads around him. The air seemed to snap as the silk parted. The woman's expression twisted, her body shifted, the illusion broke. Her kimono split as long black legs unfolded from beneath it. Her face stretched, eyes multiplying, gleaming in the dim light. The beauty remained, but it was wrong now, unnatural. She lunged. Threads shot through the air, striking like arrows. Hiroshi moved on instinct, cutting, turning, stepping back towards the rocks near the water. Each strike of his blade severed strands that clung like living things. The roar of the waterfall grew louder, drowning out everything but the pounding of his heart. For one final leap, Hiroshi broke free from the web and scrambled up the path, not daring to look back. Behind him, carried on the mist, a sound. Not quite a scream, and not quite laughter. Something in between. The Jorōgumo continues to evolve in modern storytelling, appearing in anime, manga, video games, and horror films. In series like Nura, Rise of the Yōkai Clan, spider women inspired by the Jorōgumo appear as powerful, often tragic figures. In games, she's frequently depicted as a boss character, testing not just strength but awareness and strategy. Some modern interpretations even humanize her, exploring loneliness, immortality, and the burden of her nature. But no matter how she is portrayed, the core elements remain: beauty, deception, patience, and the ever-present web. Now, Supernatural Japan listeners, to see lots of great pictures and renditions of what Jorōgumo is thought to look like, follow Supernatural Japan on Instagram and Facebook. The links, of course, will be in the show notes and over on supernaturaljapan.com. The Jorōgumo has endured for centuries because she speaks to something deeply human. The fear that danger does not always appear as a monster, but as something beautiful, something inviting. She reminds us that not all threats are obvious. Some wait, some watch, and some smile. Thank you for listening to Supernatural Japan. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to follow the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a review and a rating. That really helps other spooky history lovers find the show too. That's right. And the really cool thing right now with Spotify is that you can leave a comment below every single episode. So if you want to leave a comment on Spotify, if that's where you listen to us, that's great. And hey, we're in desperate need of some Apple reviews. That is for sure. Now, of course, you can visit supernaturaljapan.com to see all of our social links, our blog, which features stories all about spooky Japan and some podcast news. Now, before we go, I really wanted to share a couple of great Spotify comments. Now, from William, he said, I love this show. I have listened to every episode. Kevin is amazing and knowledgeable. I highly recommend you save it and listen to. Hey, William, thank you so much for that sunshine. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you listening. and leaving the comment. That is awesome. And here's another one, a short one, but a kind one from Nick Shogun. He said, "Nice voice. Love it." Well, Nick, thank you. I really appreciate it. Happy you like my voice. Have to admit, in this episode, it cracked a few times. I'm still recovering from that surgery I mentioned in last week's episode. My voice, I'm having still trouble getting it back to its regular, beautiful self. That's what happens sometimes. Recovering from surgery takes a little while. Now, I didn't have surgery on my voice or my throat, but, it's like a chain reaction thing. All right, folks. Well, so remember to leave your comments and reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I will definitely read them in future episodes when you leave them. And that's it, folks. So thank you for listening to Supernatural Japan. I'm your host, Kevin O'Shea. And remember, if you find yourself alone on a mountain path and someone beautiful calls out to you from the mist, it might already be too late. Until next time.
Put together your summer wardrobe with Abercrombie. First step, new denim. Abercrombie added new linen blend jeans to their lineup. They're really lightweight and a comfortable cotton linen blend you need for summer. Their archive shirt is your next must-have. Cut it a 90s-inspired oversized fit that gives a put-together but relaxed look. Pair it with their classic poplin short and you have your new go-to outfit for the season. Set your wardrobe up with Abercrombie this summer. Shop in the app, online, and in stores.